I think it was about a month ago that I introduced Mars, or Gabura, in the way that is portrayed in my magical tradition, which I don't suspect that in any legitimate magical tradition it would be portrayed in any real different way. In talking about it, I made mention that Mars is an opposite polarity to Jupiter, and that in working with Mars, eventually you're going to want to hop over to the sphere of Jupiter, the planetary realm, the planetary influence, the planetary sphere of Jupiter, the Sephirot of Hest, to balance out your energetic polarities, because spending too much time on one particular sphere will pull your entire astral body out of alignment, and that will filter down into imbalances within your physical body. This is just the way it is. Humans cannot exist fully in one particular element. They need to be balanced out. They need to be tempered by other energies to keep you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually sane, because we are living in a world now where many people are fragmented and on the verge of schizophrenia and are so shattered spiritually that if you really look at a number of other YouTube videos and individuals spilling out information about spirituality, you will notice great imbalances in their personality and huge glaring contradictions in what they're talking about. I've met a couple recently. A couple even tried to get me to join, and one was even trying to say that I was a member, and was telling other people that I was a member of their group or their family. And let me tell you now, no. I am a member of no other order. This is my order. This is an order that I have spent 20 years learning one tradition, and I know it very, very well. And within that one tradition, there is a complete set of energies that keep me balanced, stable, and able to perform and to work in ways that I am allowed to remain safe, that I am allowed to progress physically, and that I am able to see the glaring dilemmas and the strange behavior that others have and pinpoint what the source of that sickness is. And believe me when I tell you, it is a matter of being imbalanced, mixing way too many strange energies together, and not having a sense of your foundations and not being connected to your roots. This is absolutely key. And in this particular section, I'm going to introduce you to a couple things, and I'm going to surround it around the influence of Jupiter to keep you grounded, because some of you have been really working with Gabura or Mars, which is good, but it's time to ground you in another energy, in an energy that will temper out the rage, the strength, the conflictive, forceful powers of Mars. In our tradition, there are three major symbols. It's the heart, the sword, and the hand. All of these flow together within what's called the crucifix symbology. Now, this is how I know so much about the Christ energy and why I really feel the Christian religion and ideology has befouled what the true alchemical Christianity, Christendom, crucifix energy of Christ was really about. In the tree of life, you can see very clearly the path of earth, moon, sun, and heaven, which is the middle pillar path, which is Malkuth to Yesod to Tapareth to chest. On the arms are, on the right side, Geburah, and on the left side, chest, Hest, whatever you want to call it. In this symbology, long before Jesus was even supposed to have been alive, there is the human being that stands in the middle of this cross, this T, with their heart center around the sun center of Tapareth, their genitals around the moon center of Yesod, their feet in Malkuth, and directly above their head is the nimbus, the great light of Kether, influencing the idea that a human is both the mind and brain merged together. In the right hand of the human is power, and in the left hand is mercy. That is those abilities to create and destroy. That is represented by Mars, which is destruction, and Jupiter, which is creation. For a man to achieve his higher self, he has to allow his lower self to die. Now take that as you will. That's a symbolic death. Sometimes it is such a painful symbolic death, it feels like a real death. And because it's so torturous, it is viewed as a torture ritual, such as the crucifix is, the crucifixion of Christ. This is stuff that's not in any book. This is stuff that is not being talked about on any other YouTube channel. This is stuff that 99.9% of you have never heard before. I am not telling you this because I'm an elitist asshole. I'm telling you this because this is something I've spent 20 years dealing with, and I want you to understand how well I know it and how pure this information is. If some other douchebag comes up to you and calls you his homeboy, and he's going to blast the darkness with his light and then starts talking about the crucifix energy, you can know for sure it's because he's sucking this information from me and then twisting it to get you to go to his group, okay? I am telling you this information because I want you to have it. I want you to benefit from it, but I want the source to remain pure. That's the problem with every other bit of information for the most part out there. It's corrupted, and it's been corrupted on purpose. So the crucifixion had Jesus, which was like the name of Joe. It's the everyman. It is every man. It's every woman. It's everybody on this earth suffering for the benefit of others. The spear of Mars is what's pierced his side. The cup of Jupiter is what caught the spilt blood. The spear caused the wound. The wound is a space where the healer learns to heal himself. How can you be a healer if you don't know how to heal? Who else would you go injure to learn how to heal? You need to heal your own wounds first. The cup catches the blood. The blood is the power of life. The cup creates structure for life, for creation. This is Jupiter. All these things happened, were symbolized thousands of years before the so-called crucifixion happened. Keeping that in mind, within that same structure lies the heart, the hand, and the sword. In my tradition, it is said, "Grant me the wisdom to become as brilliant as Tapareth, as terrible as Geburah, and as merciful as Hest." What that means is the heart is brilliant as the sun. Wonderful, warm, shining, positive, life-giving energy. Defended by the great, mighty, awful, horrible sword that is the power of Mars. Should you come try and take from me the beauty that I share openly? Because believe me, there are those people fucked up enough, stupid enough, sick enough, twisted enough, greedy enough to think that they can just take what's mine. They could just take what's yours. May the sword defend me. May I be so good with such a weapon of destruction that it defends my right to be beautiful and to share love. That is the sword that the Lady of the Lake gave Chieftain Arthur. She gave him the weapon to take life in order to protect it. These are Celtic concepts. Beautiful. The foundational bedrock of Celtic concepts, Celtic spirituality. Alright? These are human spiritualities that are the bedrock source of what it is to be human. You can't take these concepts and try to twist them into something else. These are human concepts. The hand that welds the sword of Mars is Jupiter. May that hand be merciful. May I have the right to say, I will defend myself, but I will not necessarily kill you. I can wound you. I can give you something to go think about. If you try to take what's mine, I could give you a belly wound. You may not die, but as you crawl away and try to stuff your intestines back into your stomach and pray that someone still likes you enough to sew you back up because of the giant douchebag you've been, maybe you can think about, wow, man, I've been a total fucking asshole. I better change. That's the beauty of it. The Dagda, one of the major Celtic father deity, didn't have a sword. He had a club. That meant that he wasn't necessarily out to kill you, but he would fucking whomp you with it. He would break your legs, break your ribs, break your arm if you tried to hurt him or his children. And while you go and heal from a painful, awful, but not necessarily mortal wound, you can think about, hey, maybe when I come back, I'll apologize and then go, I'm sorry for being such a grievous douchebag. What can I do? How can I make this right? And then everyone else will go, you know what? We respect this guy now. That's the power of this tradition. And that's the power of these energies that I'm talking about right now, which is Mars, which I have, Jupiter, which I'm going to talk about now, and then later the sun sign, which is your higher self. Okay? The sword, the hand, and the heart. These are powerful images. Let me get back to it.